Hey guys, welcome to channel. I'm gonna make another video and we're gonna watch some Asmongold. As you can see, we are subscribed, like I am subscribed to his channel. You guys should too, because he's a based guy and he's an awesome dude. So alright, let's go.
So Iran protests escalate as Rial hits a new record low. I think that's their currency. Look at all this. Iran's out of water. Sounds like a problem. Holy shit. This
Okay,
guy is the most popular candidate to take over Iran.
okay, I think he might be the prince. Yeah, his father was the king. He might be the prince, yeah?
But he does not have a majority of the Iranian support. He has like 30-40%. Look at all that.
As long as this.
Company's economic situation only get worse. Yeah, true.
Okay, let's see how many years like the Iranian regime has been on power in Iran. Uh, let's check it out. How many years did the Iranian regime is in power? Oh wow, 1979. From 1979. Damn, that's a long time, isn't it? All right.
Their biggest city's out of water? What the fuck?
Yep, Tehran, the capital of Iran, is out of water for ages. It, people are the water is literally drying up, and people are dying.
That's insane. Fuck the Islamic Republic of Iran, but do we really need another king?
Yeah, fuck the Islamic Republic of Iran. This is what happens when your country is ruled by like radical Islamist jihadist mindset people. They will hold a country hostage. It's been like almost 40 years that Iran has been held hostage. The people didn't agree with that, but the the Islamic Republican of Iran, like it used to be Persia. You have to understand, like Persia used to be one of those oldest civilization, like the Egyptian civilization, like the Indian civilization, the Chinese civilization. Persia was a very old civilization. And look what this has become now. Do you know why? Because of Islamization of Iran. Even under the monarchy rule, Iran was prospering, Iran was becoming more westernized. But look what Iran has become. Like Sharia police on the street who are gonna like jail women because they are not wearing the hijab. I believe it was like 2019 when they killed Masa Amini, like who didn't wear hijab and they killed a girl. That's why women started to burning hijab in Iran, in like showing solidarity to that girl as a protest. Look,
Sure, if the guy does a good job. Gives a shit. Call it whatever you want. I just don't want to build nukes.
yeah,
Jesus. Their country's literally dying. He said dry. He said drying.
yeah, the country is literally drying.
Well, good for him, man. So we got even more of this here. Compatriots taking the streets in your own hands. Iranian people rise up, and this is obviously Israel wants them to rise up too. I think it would be
Because
beneficial.
okay, you have to understand, like before the revolution in Iran, Iran and Israel, like Iran used to work really well with Mossad. Iran was a legitimate threat to the Emiratis, to the Saudis. They used to work really well with Mossad and also Israel to keep to keep in check with with Saudis and the Emiratis. But guess what? After the revolution, they became the biggest problem in the Middle East.
For Israel, very clearly. I mean, obviously it would be. What is this here? Chanting "Long live the Shah" on Iranian streets never happened for decades. People were scared.
Damn,
Now they're not.
damn. This is,
Wow. Holy shit.
that's like a mountain. That's like a sea of people. Damn, that's like imagine a sea of people crashing against a mountain of like radicalism, fanatism, and a mountain of control and oppression. That is the Islamic regime. This is what's happening, and we can see it because of internet. Holy shit.
Jesus. So it looks like night falls on Iran. People are in the streets. Nobody's scared anymore. Well, this is generally how like authoritarian military regimes fall. Now, I thought this was going to happen maybe 6 months ago. I think very clearly like they are circling the drain. Like
Yeah,
it's not a matter of if, but when. Is this when? I don't know if this is going to be when or not. But it sure looks pretty bad for him. How much dissent do you think is being propped up by foreign intelligence? I've never met somebody in Iran who supported the government.
yeah, I have some Iranian friends too who actually live in Iran, and trust me, everybody hates the government. Like, come on, like if you like you have to understand, like in Iran, you women have to always wear like there is a thing called morality police. According to the state legislated morality, if you don't follow them, people can arrest you from the street and essentially jail you, which is kind of like concentration camp. Do you remember like the early 2000s or during 2010s, uh, people in Iran was like executed for being gay? Yeah, and I look at people who are like queer for Palestine. Guess what? If you are queer in Palestine, you'll be executed. So yeah, this is like extreme control. You have to understand that extreme control and extreme like moral policing is a thing in Iran. We might not experience that, but for them, it's a reality for almost 40 years.
I'll just say that. I've never met a single chatter, a viewer, anybody whenever I was covering the Iran war.
Mhm.
Every single one of them hated the government.
Yeah, and they have the right to hate the government too.
I think that's something that's worth considering. iDubbbz? I said from Iran, not from Connecticut.
Idubbbz is a dumbass.
I'm
I'm
sure there's
sorry,
plenty
he's a
of white people
dumbass.
from Connecticut that think the Ayatollah is amazing. But I'm talking about real actual Iranians.
Because they are like sponsored by communist. So Iran deals a lot of thing with like Russia and communistic countries like with also China. So yeah, I mean the people who want no borders, who wants complete control and complete domination, this is their wet dream. Iran is their wet dream. People who follow communism, Iran is their wet dream because you're using an ideology to uh, control the population to your will, and they have to form up, they have to like live their life according to your rule. Classic communism 101.
Entire Iranians have shut down the Marcus Bazaar non-productive regime, calling the Shah to return. Yeah, I wonder why. Holy shit.
That's
You have
big.
to also keep in mind that like this is doing this in
That's
Iran
big.
is like this isn't like the no kings protest here in the United States. Every single person that's on that street is putting their life on the line. They're doing that because they have an oppressive fundamentalist religious psycho military dictatorship basically, or regime, I think
Yeah,
that's better to say. Like these
like
people are
everyone on the street can die. what if the regime decides that, hey, let's strap a machine gun on a helicopter and like shoot them like flies? They have no repercussion. They have no accountability. Everybody in the street can die. And this is the reality for generation, at least for two generation. I mean, can you imagine living like that, where you cannot speak out, where you cannot criticize, where you cannot say what you want to say from your heart? Because for that you might be killed or your family might be killed. It is their reality for 40 years.
Genuine patriots for their country. They deserve as much respect and
Yeah.
support as you can possibly give them.
They are doing all that for freedom. They are doing all that for a better tomorrow or for a better future, not for themselves, also for their descendants and also for their next generation. So we should definitely share their plea to the rest of the world so that the rest of the world can support these people. You don't have to support the government, an anti-government or somebody who's running against the like the Islamic regime. You have to support the common people of Iran so that they can live a better life in their own country with a better future. Because at the end of the day, this is what you need. All of everywhere you go, people want the same thing. They want to work hard, provide for their family, and create a better scenario for their next generation. This is what people want, but they can't do that, and they're fighting to achieve that. And they should be uploaded for that, and they should be supported for that.
You have so many fans in Iran, and Iranians think your base is fuck. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the thing is, like,
I think Asmund is based as fuck too. Also, the normal general public of Iran, they're based as fuck too.
everybody can see the videos. We can see the way it used to be over there.
Yeah,
And I mean, the truth is that like Iran is like a massive destabilizing force in the Middle East. It seems like the majority of these other terrorist organizations, whether it's Hezbollah or Hamas, are being funded indirectly by Iran.
yeah, by
So
the
if you can
regime,
control and
not by
stop
Iran.
Iran and make sure that Iran isn't supporting those people, you can also indirectly stop the terrorist organizations.
Yeah,
And then also from the other direction, from stopping the pipeline, Iran is sometimes being funded and helped by Russia or by China.
yep.
So you remove Russian and China influence if you can make sure that Iran is an ally to America. I want to trade with Iran. I think this is a good thing. I think we should try to make sure as soon as this is over.
And also, Iranian people are really cool. They're very like a lot of people in US. Uh, like obviously, you guys have probably met some kind of Iranian doctor. 'Cause Iranians are good doctors. So yeah,
We should be helping Iran. I'm fine even sending them money after this because I want to make sure that this country isn't destabilized. I want to make sure that, like, basically, because you got to keep in mind, like, so inside of Islam, I mean, Islam is the same as Christianity, which is the same as everything else. There are groups of people that disagree with each other, right? Iran has a different Muslim sect than, let's say, Saudi Arabia does.
yeah,
Saudi Arabia is Sunni Muslims, and Iran is Shia Muslims. The majority of Muslims, my understanding, are Sunni, and Shia is like a minority group. And so basically, I mean, if you can.
okay. So this is where the Shias and Sunnis differ. Okay, you have to understand. This is like the first ever split in Islam, and that happened right after when Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Prophet of Islam, died. The Shias, they wanted Ali, who is Muhammad's uh, son-in-law and also his cousin, to be the successor of Muhammad. But the Sunnis, they wanted the four caliphs, which is like started with Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Usman, to be the successor. So basically, the Sunnis wanted Abu Bakr to be the successor, but the Shias, they wanted Ali to be the successor of Muhammad. Ali eventually became the successor, but he became the fourth one. Like after Abu Bakr, after Umar, after Usman, then came Ali. And also the Sunnis, oh wow, the Sunnis killed Muhammad's grandson and kicked his decapitated head like a football, who are Ali's kids, Hassan and Hussein. So that's why Shias don't like Sunnis and Sunnis don't like Shias, because this split happened right after when Muhammad died, immediately after Muhammad died. So yeah, it's it that split and that hatred and that like animosity between two groups of Muslims, it goes for 1400 years. Very long time.
If you can get these people to just kind of at least not bomb each other and not destabilize the region, this will save us. I'm not even kidding you. This will save American taxpayers and everything, because you also have to look at mind the geography too. You look at, let me see here, world map. And where is it? Block. Where is it here? If I show you right here, you can see that Iran actually has, there is a ton of water here that Iran is involved with. And so they have a massive waterfront right there. So if we
Yep.
can help them and be able to work with these people, yeah, hundreds of billions, yeah, like hundreds of miles, I'm assuming, right? I don't know if it's that big, but like it's a lot of waterfront. And so that's it. Zoom, yeah, the big picture. Let me see if I can show you. Maps of the world, okay. Or is it? Yeah. Can I click on this? Oh, okay, let me, can I, Iran map, okay. Well, I guess you can see it right here. So you can see right here, this is the straight, this is the place that they were trying to block out as well. And so you can
Okay.
see very clearly, this is Tehran, this is their capital right here.
Yeah, right on the edge of
And
Caspian
go to
Sea.
Google Maps. Well, I can just show you this, right? I mean, I
Yep.
guess maybe it's a better map. I don't know if I can find a better one. Sorry, it's like I didn't expect that a map would be annoying for me to find, but it seems like there is a little bit of it. So it's great waterfront property? Well, it unironically
It
is.
is, it
I
is.
mean, you're totally right. Let me see. Can I go back? Yeah. Yeah, here it is. So if you click at this, you can see all this waterfront, right? And like, so there's the UAE right there, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. So if you're able to make this region right here, look how big this region is.
Yeah,
If you
that's
were able to make this region not a PvP server, think about how much less money we have to spend worrying about people getting blown up.
like okay, can you imagine like countries like Iran, UAE, they get a share of this water and they use that water to grow their own crops. You can grow crops in desert with water and they have plenty of water too. But like if you lived in a like a utopian society, there would not be any division. But that division happened 1400 years ago because most of the Emiratis and most of the like Emiratis and also like Saudis, they are Sunnis and Iran is majorly Shia. So you have to understand that division happened for 1400 years ago. It's 1400 years old. And they still haven't way to fix it. I mean, the Muslims and the Jewish problem, it has been going on for like, I don't know, probably same time because Islam was created 1400 years ago. So yeah, so people like you need to figure out a way to create normalcy between two groups of people who even follow the same religion. Yeah, they all think Muhammad is the prophet and they also worship the same God, that is Allah, but there is still division because of the successor issue of after Muhammad. And this is like, yeah. So this is the main reason why there is conflict.
This is a massive benefit for America if we can make sure that this
This is
place
a
isn't a shithole.
massive benefit for not only just America, for rest of the world, and also for Iran and all the other Middle Eastern countries too. the countries in that region. It's a benefit for all of them. It's a situation where everybody wins.
Like we will be saving hundreds, probably collectively over like the next decades of this happening,
Yeah.
hundreds of billions of dollars.
And guess what? America doesn't have to police the world, doesn't have to play like civilization on the sandbox of the earth. So it's beneficial for US too, and it's also beneficial to the US citizens too in the long run.
Dollars, at least tens of billions of dollars doing this. And there's also, you have to keep in mind, it's not just us saving the money, it's Saudi Arabia saving the money. China generally trades with them, so it's probably not that big of a deal for them. But there are all of these other countries that are also trading back and forth here. Well, those costs get ultimately put on the consumer. Or stay the fuck out of the Middle East. I feel like it's easy to say that, but and this is the problem. Like I would agree with you about staying the fuck out of the Middle East, but I don't think that that's feasible to completely do. And also, I don't even agree. Like, so this is another big thing, is that unless Iran poses a direct military threat to America, I don't think that I don't think that we should do anything militarily to stop them. Like
Yeah,
we shouldn't go and like blow up the Ayatollah. We shouldn't go and destroy.
I mean we got Israel to do like US has Israel for that, but you know.
Like this has to be something that their people do. I don't agree that
And also like, look, if you want actual authentic change to a society, it's the people of the society needs to bring that change. If an outside force comes to that society and brings that change, it's not gonna happen. In order for the regime to die and the regime to collapse and permanently die, the people of Iran needs to step up and kick the regime out of the power so that they can be democratic. Because if it doesn't happen, there will be regime sympathizers who will create a narrative that, oh, it was an outside force who came and destroyed the glory of their regime. And guess what? 30, 40 years later, the regime will come back on power again because it has happened, replacing the Taliban with the Taliban. Like 20 years, 19 years, US stayed in Afghanistan. What is the result of that? The Taliban is in power again. So, for a society to become more civilized or for a society to grow up, is the people of the society needs to grow up too, and they have to fix their horrible things about that society. Otherwise, nothing will change. There will not be any progress at all.
we should go and solve this problem for them. They need to solve this problem for themselves. Because if
Yeah,
we solve it for them, we're going to have the same problem that we had in 1979. The guy that we put in 1953 got kicked out then. They have to
yeah,
make the decision for themselves. They have to figure out their own self governance, right? I mean, that's what America's all about. Absolutely. So, so it's that's my opinion on it. That's what I think they should do. So does the South, including Texas, still have plentiful oil reserves available? We have a lot of oil reserves, but as far as I know, there's other things that we get from Iran. I don't know every trade
I mean,
export from Iran.
you can, okay. Here's the thing. There's, apart from oil, there's another thing you can get from Iran. Do you know what is the most expensive spice on the planet? Saffron. Iran produces the most saffron in the whole wide world. And saffron is really expensive. Like a few grams of saffron is several $100s. So you can get a lot of saffron from Iran. Iran probably produces like 70% or the 80% of the whole saffron in the whole wide world. So yeah. And also like how can you forget Persian rugs? They make great rugs. So yeah, there are a lot of stuff you can get from Iran apart from oil also. You can get saffron, the most expensive spice, and there are so many other things.
I'm sorry. But my point is very clearly, can you see how strategically advantageous Iran is? Iran should be a probably like a top 20 GDP country in the world. With how close they are to these other places,
Yeah,
they
they
should be
should
a
be.
top 20 GDP country in the world.
And they
They are
were at
incredibly
some
well
point.
educated. They used to be incredibly well
They
educated.
used to be the most richest country in the Middle East. And now look at them. They can't even have drinking water for their citizen. This is what happens when policies are driven and made by a radical religious faction who clings to power for decades and wants to control people because of religious indoctrination. And they want to basically, look, think about it like this. There are good parties and bad parties in politics, but every party, they want to come into the power because they want to get the votes of the citizen next term when the election will happen, and they will do some kind of progress for the country so that they can win the election. But when you don't have the incentive to win the election, you're not going to do any progress. You're just going to fatten up your own pocket. I'm not saying that politicians don't do any kind of corruption. Every politician does, but they also do some, like every politician does. But every political party or every politicians who wants to get re-elected, they will also do some progress. But if you don't have the incentive of re-election, because if you know that, oh, I'm going to stay on power forever and no one can like kick me out of the seat of power, you're not going to care. You're not going to care for the normal people. You're not going to care for the country. You're not going to care for like the peasant. That's why the world is not run by a bunch of emperors and kings throughout every country. That's why most country has some form of election so that they wanna they wanna like do something for the citizen of the country. There will be corruption, and that is like the biggest flaw of democracy. But guess what? Throughout human history, this is the best system that we came up with for yet. Communism doesn't work because the people in power, they become too much drunk on power and they don't give a shit about the people. Capitalism, yeah, capitalism is the father of democracy, and democracy works. Yes, there will be corruption, but at least there will be some progress. Monarchy didn't work because the king, they will become too egotistical and megalomaniacal, drunk with power, and they can execute anybody they want without any repercussion. But with democracy, you can hold your politicians in contempt if they fuck up. So democracy works in the end. It's not perfect, but it works.
Educated. This is a very big country. It's a nice place. Like, there's no reason it should be a shithole. It's the same as Venezuela.
Yeah,
Venezuela used to be the fourth richest country in the world. Now it's a shithole.
bad governments,
Guy got
bad
kicked out in
governments.
1953. Lines over. His Pahlavi family lives off, and the largest of Israelis support him. Money. Reza Pahlavi is such an incompetent, corrupt moron. Even the most hardline Shah loyalists do not support him. I don't know about that. I mean, I hear, like, I've seen the polls, and the polls don't show what you're saying. But I mean, again, like, if you have unique insight because you know people there or you live there, then I mean, obviously, I don't have that. But what I do have is what I've seen.
Okay, I
Shah's
like,
corrupt. Well, it's not about
okay, I have seen some interviews of Reza Shah Pahlavi. He said that if the citizen wants a democratic Iran, he will do that. But initially, he wants to take power so that he can maintain it, and he will stay on power for a transitionary period So most likely, if the common people wants there to be a king or a monarchy, he will be a king. If the people want it to be a democratic country, he will also do that. So, and also in another interview, he said that he wants to create a system like United Kingdom. I mean, United Kingdom also has kings and queens and monarchy, but they don't really have any power. It's the parliament that holds the power, honestly speaking. The king just signs some documents here and there, and that's it. And they collect tax. So yeah, so he wants something like that. I like listen to some of his interviews, so he wants something like that from my judgment, from what I could get from the guy, from what I could read. I never interacted with him, so I don't know, but I think he probably wants something like that because it's a sweet gig. Like you don't have to do anything, sit on your ass and collect some benefits, and most of the things like if you fuck up, it's the ministers who will take the blunt of it. The king or the queen or the monarchy doesn't really have the blunt of doesn't have to bear the brunt of it because it's essentially the ministers or the prime ministers who will run the country. The king just sits on a fancy throne and like collects checks and like an allowance. The same system works in Japan also. Japan has emperors too. Like in Europe, it's England also has emperor too, but it's the ministers or the presidents who run the country. So yeah, it's it's a system that works if you know how to integrate it, but if you become too much power hungry, it will not work.
The thing is, the Shah is not the point. The point is that people deserve the ability to govern themselves and to be able to determine their own fate, rather
Yeah,
than have it be determined by a fundamentalist, militaristic, psychotic religious organization. That's the main thing that has to happen.
like like in the Middle Ages, like the separation of church and state, it needed to happen because the church became too powerful. The Catholic Church became too powerful eventually. So the separation of church and state needs to happen. A church cannot run a country well because a church is too much ideologically driven and they are driven by one single ideology and they will disregard every other ideology, every other input from any other different ideology. They will not take it. So a church cannot run a country. They cannot run a country in the past, they cannot run a country in the present, they cannot run a country in the future. Because if you let a church run a country, you have situations like Iran, where most people are shit and tired of the regime, but they can't do anything because if they protest, they will be put on jail or executed, and eventually the regime becomes so strict that people just doesn't give a shit whether they die or not because they will start a revolution, they will start a coup every time. It may last for 40 years, it may last for 50 years. Every time a country is run by some kind of like religious driven ideology, but it will not last for a long time. That doesn't create a sustainable situation where a country will progress.
I don't give a shit about who's doing it. It's their decision on who's doing it, not ours. But it's pretty clear that they're not picking these guys. Look at this here. I would say what this reminds me of, but
Yeah.
apparently nothing happened in 1989. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Nothing at all. Yeah, I forgot. So, Tehran's state in a state of emergency. Yeah, here we go. I'm joined away from. Holy shit.
Can
Oh
you
my
see
god.
like how many normal public is in the street? Because people are sick and tired of this. They don't want to live like this anymore. That's why people disregard whether they live or die. They want to make it happen. They want to create a better society. That's why they are on the street. Otherwise, like, what's the reason a normal, decent human being who works and wants to create a scenario, a better scenario for the descendant, for the next generation, provide for their family, will come down the street and not work? Most people just want to work, make money to provide for their family. That's it. They don't want to do that. But why would normal Joe or normal public will come to the street? Because they are sick and tired of living a life this. They want to live a better life. They want to fight for a better future, or for a better tomorrow.
With all due respect, why are you okay with so much money potentially going there, but not Israel? Because I think that the amount of money, like Israel is already on our side. It's not destabilized. It's not trying to blow us up. Well, except for the USS Liberty. But besides that, they're not really trying to blow us up. It's an investment. I view
Because Israel is already an ally of US, you don't need to like put all of your resources on Israel alone. If you can have, if you can invest some money on Iran and create a second ally, what's wrong with that? Like, if you invest too much on Israel, it's kind of like US will become like the sugar daddy of Israel. Like, you don't want to become a sugar daddy of a single country. You have to diversify. You have to put your eggs in different baskets. You cannot put all of your eggs in one basket. Because if you do, what if that basket flips? Then everything is wasted.
you investing in Iran, making sure that they're able to have a good transition and not be taken over by another militaristic group as a long term investment in ensuring free and good trade in that area. That's
Yeah,
the reason why. We've already locked down Israel. We've already given them billions of dollars. We don't need to wait. Yeah, maybe we should give it to somebody else. El Asma. No, it makes perfect sense. You're diversifying your investments. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
everybody should do that.
Putting
Israel will help Iran? Well, yeah. You want to fight through wars? No.
Israel and Iran worked really, really well together, like in the 50s. I mean, if you know your history, they really worked together in 50s. Before the revolution, they were like the buddies. After the like revolution and the Islamic regime came into the power, the situation shifted. They were buddy buddies, like Iran and Mossad, Iran and Israel. They were buddy buddies. They have like so many joint operation together. Like, you have no idea.
Well, you didn't listen to what I said. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I've seen enough. More money to Israel. 10 million more to Israel. There's another one right there. And I'll
Holy
see if
shit. Can you
there's a
see how
video
many
about
people
this. I
there,
don't know if
Raj?
it's any good or not, but I'll pull it up and at least watch part of it, okay? And apparently this has been it seems like this has been building up to like a fever pitch. Look at all this. For Iran without a Shah, without
You
accountability?
have to rub your eyes to believe that these images have really come out of Iran in recent days.
Oh my God. The big surprise to me about this, and one of the reasons this might sound bad, one of the reasons that I'm concerned that this won't lead to anything is because Iran hasn't turned off the internet.
I mean, yeah,
That's a big reason.
like on an escalatory level, like we have seen some like revolution or some like political, like some not coup, I would not say coup, I would say like recently in this year we have seen like several political demonstration where the country's government kind of literally ran away. They were kicked out of the power. We've seen that happen in Sri Lanka in 2019. We've seen that happened in Bangladesh in 2024. We've seen that happening in Nepal in 2025. We've also seen that happen in Indonesia. So in every scenario, internet was blocked, and after that, the common public just they came out in the street, even in larger quantities, and they kicked out the government because at the end of the day, the most powerful section of the country is the general common public. If you don't have, if you give them a, if you create a scenario where they are unhappy for decades, for years, they will topple down the government. They will. So you have to ensure for a for a government to stay on power, they need to ensure that the people can earn money and they are busy with earning money, paying taxes, taking care of their family. If they can't ensure that, well, you got a recipe for revolution and toppling down governments. So yeah, and on the escalatory level, when you cut off internet nowadays, like since I talked about the last five protests in different five different countries, every time the end became absolute when the government who stayed on power got toppled down and they all cut off internet for a few days or few weeks. And after that, guess what? The common public they came in droves in the street and they kicked out the government. So it's a thing. It happens.
because like they did that before whenever they were in the war. And so like if it was really that bad and they were really worried about losing power, they will. Yeah, I think if they turn off the internet, then I feel like okay, now shit got real.
Yeah.
They
If
will within 24 hours.
if you turn off the internet, shit gets real. Your days are numbered. If any government turn off internet, like total blackout, no internet in the country, the days are numbered. I'm sorry, but that's the world that we lived in.
Do you see what my point is though?
של אנשים שעורקים מהצבא,
We hear more and more people,
צעירים
young people who are
שבורחים
fleeing the
מהמדינה,
country.
זה
This is a very strong
אינדיקטור
indicator.
חזק מאוד.
True.
But even more, we need to focus on this dramatic documentation and listen carefully to the words being said courageously here by a police
Okay.
captain against
All right.
the
Oh,
Ayatollah
a
regime.
fucking police
Holy
captain.
shit.
Damn.
So they even have people that are in the police that are against this?
Yeah.
We're waiting for the appointed day to
This is how you know that the government is that fucked up. Even the people who are working for the government, because police, the government employees, police force, the army, they on paper they should be working for the government. The government are their boss. Even if they are dissatisfied and they are pissed off at the government, you know, they did fucked up things. They fucked up bad. Let's listen to that what this guy says.
stand by the people against the oppressive government. Oh my god. This cruel criminal child
Child
murdering
murdering
regime.
Just another
Damn.
chapter, or could that potentially
start the collapse of the Iranian regime in Tehran?
I really hope this is the beginning of the end. In Iran, we have two types of different army. We have the IRGC and we have the Artish. The Artish is the normal army. Already many people from the Artish have risen up.
The IRGC,
So we need
that's
a combination of that, and we
the
also need
religious
the
army, I
third
think.
piece, and the most important piece, I would say, is the strong opposition. People that are willing to come back and take control of power and make sure it's a smooth transition.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will happen within the next
iDubbbz will
2 to
say
3
they're
months.
lying. Yeah, don't show this video to iDubbbz.
Idubbbz, he's a cock. He gets fucked in the ass with his wife. I'm sorry, but it's he's a cock. Like he doesn't know shit. He's not an Iranian. He never lived in Iran. How can he comment on that? There are people like if you ever talk to a person who lives in Iran, you know how miserable their life is. and how much hatred they have for the Islamic regime. A common, general, normal public, they hate the government for decades. Because when you have a society where you can be in jail because you talk to a girl, for the girl and for the guy both to be like, if they both talk to each other on the street, you can be put on jail. Because guess what? It's against the it's against the regime's policy. That's a fucked up society. You can be on the jail if you did not greet people with proper greetings. That's a fucked up society. And I know people, real life, whose relatives were in jail because he didn't say assalamu alaikum properly. Or if he wore like pants which were not according to the measurement, or not according to the suggestion of the regime. That's the type of society Iran is. Can you imagine any normal human being living in this society, living with peace in their heart? Okay, yeah, I'll just work hard, I'll provide for my family, everything's going good, life is good. No, they don't. So yeah, why wouldn't they be pissed at the government? Why wouldn't they be pissed at the Islamic regime? And that's why they are fighting and to create a better tomorrow for themselves and also for the next generation.
Of an exiled opposition. And what you see here is no longer rare. Police officers, members of the security apparatus, soldiers speaking openly about rebellion and desertion.
That's
It's the
insane.
voice of
Yeah.
the other Iran that wants change.
They have turned the internet off throughout this. I think they're using Starlink. Yeah, I mean, again, like another example, like how it's crazy to me that like these like weird fat liberal Karens in America are talking about how Elon Musk is stupid. Meanwhile, he's the reason why Ukraine was able to have internet whenever they were getting killed by Russia. And
Yeah,
also Iranians and these other people were able to have internet.
Karens, they live their life with feelings. They're like, oh, they don't know shit. They don't read. They don't understand. They don't even have empathy in their heart. They think they have. They don't. They are just doing things for vibes. That, oh, this is what socially acceptable thing online. Okay, we're gonna be like that. We're gonna be gay for Palestine. We're gonna be queer for Palestine. We're gonna be trans for Palestine. But do you know does what happens in Palestine? No, the IRGC or the Islamic regime in Iran, they're good. They're very cultured. Well, do you know how do they operate? No, you don't. You'll wear a kafaya, the Palestinian kafaya, and you'll support them without knowing what's their intention is, what's their motive is, and how they operate. How they operate, they total domination of human will, total domination of human desire. Anything that you desire, anything that you want to do, any way you want to express yourself, everything is controlled, everything is obliterated. No music, no art, no poetry. Everything has to be Islamic. Everything has to be according to a book which is 1400 years old. Or guess what? Or everything has to be according to the regime's desire. You have to be a cookie cutter version of yourself according to what the regime or what Hamas wants you to be. If you want to be different, you're gonna be in jail, or at best, or at most of the time, you'll be killed along with your family.
After their government intentionally shuts it off to stop them from uprising against them. Massive, gigantic. Like, think about how big that is.
Yeah.
بیشتر با
It's
هم صحبت خواهیم
insane.
کرد و بیشتر با هم کار
Do
خواهیم
you think it's a
داشت.
coup? I don't know.
اتفاقات بزرگی در راهه و
I'm sure there's people that
به
want it to be
زودی
one.
تومار دروغ،
Trying
فریبکاری
to take
و
power, sure.
اشغالگری رو در هم خواهیم پیچید.
In Iran and in Israel, they see in them a key player in the next confrontation hovering in the air.
مرغزیده از ریسمون سیاه
One's burned by boiling water, one is even wary of cold.
سفید میترسه.
Oh, it's a good
זה
metaphor.
מי שהוקש על ידי נחש מפחד מכבל בצבע שחור ולבן. זה המקבילה הישראלית לנכווה ברותחין נזהר בצוננין. המשטר האיראני
Badly
נכווה
burned, yeah.
חזק מאוד במלחמת
The
12
12-day
הימים,
war.
ולכן הוא ייזהר מאוד היום
Very careful even today when it's cold,
בצוננין.
yeah.
ולכן אנחנו לקראת עימות מאוד מאוד משמעותי שהוא מבין שהשרידות שלו על הפרק.
He's saying that basically it's very hard for them to consolidate and like understand and get back together with Israel because they just had that war recently.
Yeah, but okay, that's a fact. Yeah, Israel did bomb a bunch of places in Iran, and Iran also bombed a bunch of places in Israel. But general public to general public, it's not gonna happen in one generation. It's gonna take multiple generation to get things normalcy. But unless you get rid of this radical like Islamic regime, that will never happen. But kicking that radical Islamic regime out of power is the first step to having a normal relationship with your neighbors. Because let's face it, you cannot choose your like in terms of countries, you cannot choose your neighbors. You cannot teleport your country to another hemisphere and choose better neighbors. You can't. So neighboring countries needs to have better relationships among themselves, not just for themselves, also for the region itself. Because if neighboring countries have, if let's say if country A has better relationship with country B, they will both progress. Example, US and Canada. Canada and US generally has pretty good relationship one another. Guess what? Both of them became powerhouses. Both of them are economically really, really well. Yes, Canada doesn't really do anything when it comes to militarily because US is so much strong when it comes to militarily strength. So Canada doesn't need to do anything about that, and they can just focus on economical things and create progress in their country. But also Canada also helps US in multiple ways. They export a lot of things to US because US is the number one purchaser of Canada. So if there was animosity, if there was a regime, let's say on Canada, who was hell bent on destroying US, would there be any relationship like that? No, there would never be in a relationship like that. But when you get rid of a regime like that, it's a start. Eventually, there will be a relationship like that. So you need to get rid of the establishment or the regime itself for the things to get to a better situation between Israel and Iran. Eventually, it's gonna take time, but as long as the regime stays on power, it will never happen because they are ideologically driven to destroy everybody who is not like them, including other Muslims, Sunni Muslims also. Everybody who their ideology is everybody who ain't us dead. But with that ideology, you cannot have a cooperative relationship with your neighboring countries. So you need to get rid of that ideology and make sure that ideology never comes in power so that you can start to negotiate and create a scenario where eventually you can have a cooperative relationship with your neighboring countries. in your region.
Makes sense.
First time since the Iranian Revolution.
Yeah.
It's
I
unclear.
mean, it has to. The thing is, it has to be them that doesn't. Like, Israel can't make this happen. America can't make this happen. If we do, it's going to fall apart. It might
Yeah,
not
it
fall
will.
apart now. It'll fall apart in 5 years.
What will happen first?
It might even fall apart 30, 40 years later. You don't know because, like, for a society to grow up, for a society to progress, the society itself needs to fix its problem. The society itself needs to get rid of and fix the issue that is plaguing the society. Like, if there are bad elements in a society, the society itself needs to fix that. Like, a good example is of that is the civil rights movements. If that didn't happen, because there was a situation in America where there was apartheid, but because of the civil rights movement, the apartheid situation got dissolved. No other country, if some other European country came to America and demanded that, hey, get rid of the segregation, it would have never worked. The civil rights movement fixed that issue. So, for a society to grow up, the society itself needs to fix its issues and get rid of the bad elements forever so that bad elements never controls the society ever again.
The confrontation or the collapse of the regime?
Damn. It looks like a hellhole, man. Damn, so many destruction.
Probably both. This motherfucker had a gray beard when I was 5. To be fair, there's another guy that looked pretty similar to him that he took over from.
30-40 שנה אומרים שהאזרח האיראני שואל, עומד קוג'אס, איפה התקווה? איפה התקווה היום?
The lack of hope for the Iranian people is the main thing, in my opinion. The biggest gap we have today in Iran. Yeah, exactly. Very bad, let's call it, experience with protest. The Iranian people have a very bad, let's call it, experience with protests.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one way to say it. Yeah?
Because they might get killed if they do protest.
This confirms iDubbbz is just spreading lies. Oh, there's nothing more insidious and disgusting than these white liberals in America that try to sweep for these Islamic fundamentalist freaks just because they're non-white and their culture is non-Western, and they view it as, like, basically any culture that is non-Western, criticizing it as a Westerner, we're supposed to just assume that their culture is better.
Okay. Like, liberals in US or most of the, like, the Anglo-Saxon like countries, they hate their own skin. I'm sorry, they do. They hate their own skin, they hate their own bloodline, they hate their own civilization, they hate their own culture. They will simp for anything that is completely opposite of their society. I like to call them that they are drunk on peace. Like, when you have peaceful times throughout your country for decades or for centuries, you become like you create that, oh, why am I living so peacefully? In your mind, you want to say that, no, this is a bad way to live. Oh, okay, let's see where people live differently. Okay. Oh, whoa, that's a better society. Well, it's not. It's a more oppressive society, and it's a society that is below the society that you're living in when it comes to human development or when it comes to societal development. That's why throughout the whole world, we know a thing called Red and Green Alliance. And guess what? Every time the Red and Green Alliance happened, the green always won. The red and green together got rid of democracy, got rid of monarchy throughout the world. And after that, guess what? The people from the green, they killed the people from the red to show the common public that hey, we will kill the people, we will kill everyone if you don't abide by us. And guess what? After seeing that, the common public, they become like sheep and they follow that. But eventually, after a while, they don't care anymore because their life becomes so miserable where the green are running amok and like ruling the place, the people doesn't care anymore, and there comes a time where people doesn't care anymore and they just want to kick the green out. And by the green I meant the Islamic regime or the Islamic ideology, and by the red we all know what I'm meaning is the communistic or leftist ideology, hardcore leftist ideology. And how do I know this? Because this is what happened in Iran. Guess because the communist and the Islamists they worked together to got rid of the Shah. And guess what? After they got rid of the Shah, what happened? The Islamists single-handedly round up all the communists and they killed them gradually to got rid of them because when you get rid of the top competitors, your partner becomes your top competitor and you need to kill them and you need to erase their ideology so that they don't become a threat for your future rule. That's how the Islamic regime came in power because they got rid of all the leftists. Because the leftists and the Islamists they worked together, got rid of the monarchy, and the Islamists killed all the leftist people.
And you can see the Iranians are protesting against this themselves because there's a reason why, like, really, I mean, these people can't even voice they can't even voice their dissent. Iranians are white. I mean, the thing is that not everybody in a lot of these countries there isn't like one skin color. Like it's the same as like people here in the US. Like there's white people that have darker skin and brighter skin too. There's some of them that do look white. Yeah, sure.
בספטמבר 22 מחאות מסע המינים, מחאות החיג'אב, הכל היה שם.
I mean, there's a spectrum with everything.
לא היה גב מהקהילה הבינלאומית, בעיקר האמריקאית, שתבוא ותגיד, אנחנו רוצים שהמשטר הזה ייפול. כולם שואלים, איך יכול להיות שעוד לא, שהעם לא יוצא לרחובות? רוצה לומר
Iran's country with a huge amount of different ethnicities. Yeah,
ורע וקשה.
I mean, you have to understand also, Iran is a very old country. Like Persia, it used to be like a great empire. Persia had like one of the greatest empire, like for centuries. Persia is like very old empire. Iran is a very old country. It's a very ancient civilization. So there should be more diversity because it's an old civilization.
הוא לא מניע לפעולה. תקווה מניעה לפעולה.
המתקפה הצבאית בוא תבוא, כי איראן כמו בעצם שור שצריך לחסום אותו בדישו, אבל ככל שיעבור הזמן. תעלה שוועתה של החברה האיראנית השמיימה. מסביב יהום הסער, כי אנחנו יודעים שמדינות...
You have to keep in mind that this is somebody from Israel, right? And like it's in their best interest that Iran is deposed, right? The current, you know, like leadership there is deposed. But yeah. Ethnically, Iranians are considered Caucasian. Well, I mean, like, the thing is, look, I mean, people...
Like, anybody from the Caucasus Mountain is considered Caucasian. I mean, come on, it doesn't really matter.
Like, you really think that people in Europe and the Middle East and China and all these areas weren't fucking each other for, like, thousands of years?
Yeah.
Of course they've been doing that. Duh. So like it's not like it's not a perfect fucking binary this one or the other one. I'm doing this for many years.
Yeah, for thousands years.
I'm sad.
Like people went to different places, had sex, made babies, so yeah. It's just like it's so vast and so huge and so old. People interbreed, man. People interbreed. In one geography or in one particular area, there might be a concentration of certain ethnicity or certain race, but in another area, there might be certain different ethnicity or different race. There might be a concentration of that, but there have been always mix. There is always has been interbreeding between throughout the whole human race, throughout the whole world. So there could be pockets of like different ethnicity people or mixed or hybrid ethnicity of people everywhere throughout the whole world. Because guess what? People moved around and people made babies.
Yeah, of course.
אם המשטר הזה ייפול. נדמה לי
Trump is
ש-2026
live at 5?
תוכל להמציא לנו את הדברים בצורה אחרת ממה שהכרנו בעבר.
Is that true?
The electricity and water crisis in Iran brings new traffic jams of life. And between the parking lots and buses that turn into
So nobody can even get water now over there? Oh my God.
No, there are no drinking water
the
in
Chinese
Iran.
embassy? Yeah, let me look at that after this.
Moments of protest are born.
So, okay, hang on. If you listen carefully to the reporter, she said that people are sleeping not in their house but in public buses because there are no electricity in their household. Man, that's a dystopian society. Damn. And on top of that, they don't have any water. Fuck.
That we haven't seen since the Islamic Revolution.
So how accurate is the picture we see from the outside? How serious is the situation right now?
This moment in time, $1 equals 130,000 tomans. Or
$1 is... What in the fucking Zimbabwe bullshit is this?
Holy shit.
$1 is 1.3 million? 1.3 million reals?
Yeah.
Bro, this is Zimbabwe level inflation. This is crazy. I'm rich, bitch.
Hey, I make about $500 per month. Yeah, I'm not from US, okay? Yeah, I live in a third world country, but I make about $500 per month US. I'd be fucking billionaire in Iran.
We're all billionaires now.
Even me. Even me, I have about $3,000 in my bank account. So yeah, I'm a fucking billionaire in Iran too. Damn.
1,300,000 reals. So imagine you go to work.
Sorry, not 3,000. I just checked. I almost have around $4,500 in my bank account. That's it. That's my life saving.
Work all day, you cannot even buy one egg at the end of the day for you
What the fuck?
to eat.
You can't buy an egg. Can you imagine how a young father would feel if you can't really even provide for your own kids? Forget about providing for yourself. Like a young guy or a young father or even a father, your kids are hungry. Seeing that, your kids are hungry, your kids are thirsty, you work hard, you follow the law, you work hard. Because if you don't follow the law, you will die. Okay, let's face it, that's a society where Iran is. Okay, you follow the law, you work hard, 9 to 5, and end of the week you get your payment, and you can't even buy groceries for your kids, and your kids has to go hungry. That's fucked up. That's that breaks a person. Like that breaks a person in so much level that he stops caring and he just wants to destroy the regime. He just wants to destroy the government that created a scenario like that and ensure that even if he dies, his children will have a better life than himself.
So I don't even
No
know
wonder
how the
they're
people
mad.
in Iran survive, honestly.
I really encourage the international community and the Iranian people to be brave and rise up and overthrow this Islamic Republic. That's what I want.
Political analyst born in Iran who took part in the Trump campaign in the elections, is important to emphasize the difference between the Iranian people and the cruel regime.
Yeah, of course.
They've been brainwashed like majority of the world. And I'm here to say, look, that is not true. Israel is not your enemy. They haven't committed a genocide. They have been defending themselves. People in Iran have realized that Israel is actually their only friend in the region. So I hope
Thank
that the
you
Iranian people
for
wake
that,
up and just
man.
to tell them, to give
Thank
them
you.
that confidence that
You're doing good,
Israel
Duar.
is not your enemy. Israel done what you could never do. Make
More AI
Khamenei go and
shit.
hide in a bunker like a rat.
It's another one of those AI videos that they made of each other.
Oh,
No, the
man.
thing is, like, it is.
You know, it's funny. Like back in the past, people used to make like in newspaper, people used to make like cartoonish, like people used to make cartoons. If one country is if on a war with another country, they used to make cartoons. And yeah, and nowadays they're making AI videos, hiding the Ayatollah Khomeini, hiding in a bunker with rats, and sending like and tweeting in the cave. Oh man, that's funny.
Israel, like I think there's an element of truth to this, and there's also like very clearly a spin that they're putting on it. And so like, and this is an interview, it's in Tel Aviv, and so like you have to keep all that in mind. I don't think that average like are these people like are there differences irreconcilable? I don't think so. Like it doesn't seem like it. Most people's differences are not. You can generally make do with other people even if they're very different than you.
Yeah, you can. Even if you don't agree with most people, you can you can try to work with them. People will have different opinions, but you can try to work with them. But if it's a opinion that is evil, you can't really work with them. You need to eradicate them. Let's face it, that's how the world is. Like a religious doctrine that is 1400 years old and that is as severe as like the Islamic regime of Iran, you can't really work with them. You can work with the democratic Iranian people because they will, yeah, even if they, let's face, like create a scenario. Like if you are creating a deal between two countries, yeah, one country will gain some, another country will gain some, and you will lose some. So you have to compromise. But if your whole agenda is no, my ideology is the only ideology that matters, every other ideology or uh, every other ideology doesn't matter shit, there is no path to compromise. You can work with people by compromising with them because they need to compromise a little bit to work with you too. If both party does a little bit of compromise, they can work something out between each other. But if both party doesn't want to compromise, then creates conflict.
Be thankful and let's finish the job together.
Yeah.
התפיסה היום של הצעירים באיראן זה מלחמת האור נגד החושך. הם מתחברים למה שהיה לפני 2000 שנה, לדריוש.
Huge fan. Everyone in Iran has so much international sanctions are a huge factor in economic collapse. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the reason. Like, I would say that's the main reason why they're having problems. Is that one USD is 42,000 rials.
לכורש,
It's only 42,000.
לפני 2000 שנה, קדמה, חינוך.
This was a week ago. The video came out.
מה שאתה אומר זה שהתערבות חיצונית היא זאת שצריכה להדליק את הניצוץ. בסוף הגלישה הזאת ואולי מהפכה, זה חייב לבוא מבפנים.
אם מישהו היה אומר לנו לפני מלחמת 12 הימים, שישראל תפציץ, ולא יצא בן אדם אחד ברחובות, ואפילו יתפתח סנטימנט אנטי-ישראלי, צריך לומר בכנות,
I'm sure. I don't know.
I have talked with a bunch of Iranian people throughout my life. They really love Israel. They were actually happy that that Israel probably could be the only country that can get rid of the IRGC and the regime. So, yeah, I guess because of the bombing and because of the recent wars, there would be some people in Iran who would not like Israel. But there is a huge percentage of people in Iran who actually likes Israel because they are sick of because you have to understand okay, we are sick of our government and here's another country who's challenging our government. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Even if that friend is gonna create a little bit of problem in my country, I need him to get rid of the bigger enemy that is the Islamic regime in Iran. So yeah, lots of young Iranian people, they actually really like Israel.
I don't. I think this is like more spin, to be honest. I bet there are a lot of people in Iran that probably hate Israel because Israel bombed them. Like it's pretty simple. Like it's yeah. I mean, I could see that happening, but like there's kind of two things at play here.
זו הייתה אכזבה. האמירה של טראמפ תוך כדי המלחמה הזאת הייתה אמירה מפורשת שלא מעוניינים בהחלפת
סתם שישראל לא עשתה כפה בראשו ולא הלכה על הצמרת של המשטר האיראני. איזו חלופה היום יש באיראן?
החלופה זה...
Man, all those AI videos, they're hilarious, fuck me.
זה שאלת השאלות, האפשרות של הנהגה פנימית שלא רואים כזאת. העשה, הגולה, אני חושב שהוא בהחלט יכול להוות אלטרנטיבה לתקופת מעבר.
אם מתוך החברה, למשל פעילי זכויות אדם שתמיד נמצאים שם וכל פעולה שלהם יכולה להפוך.
Keep in mind, instead of investing in water plants to handle the crazy drought, the regime is throwing hundreds of billions of dollars to build thousands of missiles to launch at Israel and to give their proxies.
Because it's a fanatical regime. It's crazy. All like they don't care about what happens to the common people. They don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't have a fear of like whether they will be re-elected the next election or not. So if they don't have that accountability, why would they care? Why would they care for the common citizens? They don't need to care for that.
Yeah, do you know why they're doing that? It's because they're a bunch of retarded psychos. That's the reason why. Like, I mean, yeah, obviously that's what's going on.
Yeah. They're not just psycho, they are also ideologically driven psychos. They're the worst type of psychos that there is.
אנשים שבסופו של דבר יגיעו
למקום
שבו הם אומרים אינני יכול יותר ופשוט יקריבו את עצמם על מזבח המאבק עם המשטר. הסיטואציה היא מהפכנית, אבל מהפכה זה לא בהכרח דבר שיכול לקרות מחר.
אני מייחל ומתפלל ליום הזה של לראות את העם האיראני עומד ברחובות, לבוש לבן, מתחבק ושר שירים של תקווה ושל אור, ומתחיל עידן חדש.
Man, well, and he's burning their fucking papers. Oh my God.
He's burning. He's probably burning the picture of the Ayatollah Khomeini or the IRGC leaders because he's done with this. He's fed up with this. He's done with this because he can't live like that. He can't imagine his kids or his grandkids to live like that.
I think this is great. Obviously, I mean, again, this does seem like it's kind of a I-24. What does I stand for? Does it stand for Israel? I don't know. But either way, you know, it's very clear that...
I mean, yeah, it's very clear that the news channel is heavily on the side of Israel, but like, if the end justify the means, why not? The people of Iran, they want to get rid of the regime. If they find Israel as an ally in achieving that, why the hell not?
This video had a pretty strong bias. I wouldn't take it super seriously, but at the same time, I do think that, you know, like, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, like, all of these different protests and everything can't just be happening for no reason. I mean, there's maybe a spin that they put on it, but regardless of that spin, it sure seems like there's a lot of people that are out there doing it anyway. So, yeah, and I-24 is an Israeli news channel. Yeah, let me see if it is or not. I-24 news. What isn't? What? Oh, what country is I-24 news from? No way! No way! It's from Israel! Yeah. What a surprise! I would have never guessed that all of the people that are talking about everything in the context of Israel are Israel. So again, very important to keep that in mind. Now, I agree that probably, like, there is, again, there's, it's not like everything.
I mean, there will always be biases.
But it is better to see this right here. You know, the revolution.
There will always be biases because, I mean, nobody is completely 100% impartial. There will always be biases. And yes, even I-24, the channel who's supporting Israel, like, yeah, they're gonna bring a lot of things which like push the ideology, or not ideology, the agenda of Israeli government, for sure, because it's from Israel. But they can also work to get rid of the IRGC or the Islamic regime. So why not? If any help comes to the common public of Iran who wants to get rid of the Islamic regime, the Ayatollah Khomeini regime from Iran, they want to get rid of that, they will get it. Like, any help is welcome at this point.
Will not be televised. It'll be posted on X. That does seem to be the case. And wow.
Oh, 2CTV.
I'm just
Love
looking at
that
a few
guy.
more of these
He's an
comments
awesome
here.
guy.
Uprising in Iran has now escalated in Tehran,
This is from
the
today.
capital, and of course in a number of other cities as well. We're going to give you guys the live coverage. The lion has risen. The Persian lion has risen. They are back on the streets. The Iranian regime have now brought in the Arab forces from Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and other countries to do a crackdown on their own people, mostly because of the
that'll go very well.
recent defections from the regime to the revolution. Now, let me give you guys all the
Okay, so so basically what Tusi is saying here, so the people who are part of the regime, they defected because even they are sick of this society. That's why the regime is pulling soldiers from from Iraq, from Libya, from Lebanon, where they have proxies which are funded by the regime. Yes, the regime's funds uh, proxy wars or proxy governments in Lebanon, Iraq, and also Libya. They are pulling resources from there. So basically, what it boils down, they're pulling their soldiers from their vassals to fix the thing that is happening in their own country. Because the soldiers that are in their own country, they abandoned the government, or they abandoned the regime itself, because they are sick of living like this. That's why they defected. Can you imagine, like, a regime so fucked up that even their own soldiers, who probably gets who probably most likely gets the best treatment, compared to way better treatment compared to the general public, or general public, like common public, common Joe, even they are sick of it, and they defected because they are thinking that, okay, the country cannot run like that. How fucked up that regime can be. Can you imagine how fucked up that regime is?
videos that we are receiving live as we speak. We've got our sources in Iran, and there is a lot to cover. Of course, we're going to get your reaction in the live chat.
He's
There is
Iranian,
already
by the way?
somebody.
I mean,
I can bring this on for you guys in the live chat.
Yeah,
Is there
2CTV
more
is
of this?
I am
Iranian.
an Iranian.
Let me just move forward and see if there's any more of the videos here. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people that are out in the street mad. Seen a couple of expos claiming students protesting in the University of Tehran have been barricaded in by the university by the regime's forces. What the fuck? God damn. What the fuck? Yeah. No, I haven't seen that at all. So this is the final battle. Wow. Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I guess we'll probably know more about what's going to happen in like the next couple of days or so. But, you know, this is kind of what I've said before, is that with a lot of these instances, I think that basically like nothing happens until everything happens.
The tree is covering
really
the
it's going to look like
footage.
nothing's happening until eventually like everything just falls apart.
It's kind of like a stack of deck, like a castle made with cards. Like, yeah, eventually it will fall, because Or okay, have you ever played Django? Like everybody who played Django, yeah, you might take one block, two block, three blocks, and everything looks perfectly fine. But eventually, there will be that one block you take it out and everything falls down. So it's like that. And then everybody would be like, "Holy shit, what happened?" The whole thing crumbled. Yeah, eventually the whole thing will crumble. Before that, everything will look perfectly normal, perfectly regular. Eventually, everything crumbles when you have a authoritative regime like that.
Seems like the Iranian people protest a lot.
And even the regime themselves, they also know that, okay, my days are numbered, but as much as I can squeeze out of the people, squeeze out of the country, I will. It's kind of like it's kind of like if you're squeezing orange juice, eventually you know you will get certain amount of oranges, but you will keep squeezing it until you get the last drop. After you get that, you're done. The orange is done. So yeah, most likely the leader of the regime, he will get all of his assets. He was like escape to another country, most likely probably to Russia, or it could be France because last time his father, or I don't know if it's his father or the guy who actually led uh, the original regime change, or not the regime change, the original like protest against the monarchy. He was running the whole show, being on France. So most likely, when the regime collapses, he will probably escape to France or escape to Russia. Because the same thing happened with like Bashar al-Assad from Syria. When he knew that his days are numbered, he escaped to Russia, but he squeezed as much as he could from the people of Syria. It's the same thing, like the same ideologically driven dictatorship. When it goes through, like they will squeeze out the juice as much as they can. After that, they will just escape. That's it.
It seems like pretty status quo to me. Ah, we'll see. Yeah, we saw this part before. Would you look at the time? This is like 6 hours ago, 4 hours ago, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have to give it another couple of days to see what's going to happen. And then
Couple
we'll
of
have a better
days, couple of
understanding of like kind of
months.
what to expect. But let me go back. I'll pull up these other ones too. They have to build a bigger military on their side. They can win. I mean, maybe, right? IRGC, Iran's IRGC intelligence units are now sending warning text messages directly to citizens. The message sent to citizens in Tehran warns people to not attend illegal gatherings and urges them to stay away from protests and stay away from protests. A move. Okay, sorry. There should be a comma there. Stay away from protests, a move widely seen as a deepening panic inside of security apparatus. Direct mass texting by security agencies is typically only used when street control is failing and authorities are attempting emergency psychological deterrence.
You know what is those direct text messages are? They're basically threats that, hey, if you step out, you'll be killed. I mean, I can't read Arabic, but it's a tool like that. Stay in your house, don't come out, don't protest. If you come out of your house, protest, you'll be killed. So yeah, it's a threat.
This is a clear indicator the regime has entered a defensive and reactive phase in response to expanding public global mobilization. Wow. I don't know what that means, but it probably means please stop. Please stop. No, no, no. Please go home. We can't deal with this.
Yeah. All right, so guys, that was a nice video. I'm happy that the people of Iran, they're taking their country back from this radical Islamic regime, and I wish them the very best. And I hope and I wish that they get their country back and they get a democratic Iran back, because it's an old country, it's a very old civilization. I want Persia to be its to live its past glory again, because it's a nice country. Iranian people are very nice. So yeah, they're very educated, very nice people. So yeah, that's it. So if you like my video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thanks. And I gotta say this. Bye.